Claudio Oriani to present the Sky This Month. Come on up.
Hello, everyone. It's a full room here, so glad you're here and we're online. My name is Claudio Oriani. Probably you already know me. I started being part of RASC Toronto Center in 2017 when my daughter was born, but I started astronomy when I was 12 when I got my first telescope from my dad. So tonight I will talk about the sky from today, February 7th to March 6th, and there are few things happening, so I will start right now. Okay. A glimpse. Of course, there is already the first typo here, as you noted. Jupiter, Uranus are still visible the first part of the night, but that's pretty much all about the planets at night because all the other planets are too close to the sun. So Saturn is very low and very dim. Mercury is in conjunction with the sun on February 28. But we have Venus still not too high in the sky in the morning, and next month will be definitely much better for Mercury. We have two bright comets, and one comet is not too bright, but is going to have a close encounter with the bright star. So keep an eye on that. The end of February is the best time of the year to see the zodiacal light after evening twilight for a couple of weeks, and a couple of suggestions for deep sky objects for February, a deep sky challenge, and plus some stuff about the International Space Station passages and transit, plus, wait a sec, I will let you know. So let's start with how many hours of dark sky we have. Of course, we are getting closer to springtime. So if you go on timeanddate.com and see for the current month, so you see that we have that's what we have. We have 10 hours and 37 minutes of imaging time today, but in March, when the next meeting is, we have 9 hours, 21 minutes of imaging time. That means that there is more daylight. But for, who's going out for astrophotography, we are not that happy because we lose like 1 hour, 60 minutes of imaging time. But the weather is going to be cool, less cold. So let's start with what we can see in the sky tonight. It's 7:30. So if you go west, you see that Orion is up, is on the southern sky, higher in the sky, and we are losing Pegasus, Andromeda. They are getting lower and lower. But if you go southeast to northeast, you see that Gemini, and you can start looking at the Leo and other, spring constellation. So soon is going to be galaxy season. So take the dust off your scope. And if you look at northeast, you see Cepheus is still quite a good target, and more and more stuff happening when you're going up 10 o'clock p.m. You see that Orion is setting. There is Jupiter to the bottom right. So you can still see Jupiter quite high in the sky at the beginning of the night, but then it's getting worse. So you have a few weeks still to look at Jupiter. And then the spring constellation getting higher. So Leo is very high at 10 o'clock. Midnight, it will be perfect target, almost at the meridian. And Perseus is still low to the horizon, so there is a lot of atmospheric dispersion. The sun, maybe you have noticed that the sun in the last few months is very active because it's getting to its maximum for this 11-year activity. Seems like the maximum will be It was supposed to be in 2025, but it seems like it will be a little bit earlier. So it's a lot of sunspots. There is one that's pointing straight to us. So if there is an X emission, we are going to have a nice time for Northern Lights. Finger crossed for that. You can have a look on spaceweather.com or the NOAA.gov website to see if there is any alert for aurora. There's also an app. I use it for my smartphone, my aurora forecast. You can have notification of something happening if the threshold is reached. The moon. So we have the perigee on February 10, and the apogee is on the February 25th. That is happened to be around the full moon. We are always talking, we'll see on the, the highlights, there is a super moon. This time we have a mini moon, I don't know how to call it. It's smaller than usual. The smallest full moon in 2024, on February 24th. And the traditional name, full snow moon, I don't think there is a reason to explain why. On Friday, February 9th, so in 2 days, we have the new moon. So it's best time of the month to do stargazing if the weather cooperates. We have a few events happening. The moon is meeting a lot of planets and bright stars. So the first one is very difficult to spot because on February 10th, there will be Moon and Saturn in conjunction. The red circle you see around in the image is just a projection of what a 135 millimeter tele lens can capture. So it's a good target to try in a couple of days. But the moon will be very low to the horizon, no more than 6 degrees. So it's very hard to spot. Let me know if you can take it. On the 16th, there is another good opportunity. The moon and the Pleiades will share the same field of view. So I know that there is some astrophotographer using his camera very often here and maybe online. So maybe you can try this one as well. And this is around 7 o'clock p.m. The moon will also meet Pollux Beta Geminorum on February 20, and they're very close together again. While if you go on February 23rd, the moon will meet Regulus in Leo, and they're very close again. Then the moon is Spica in Virgo on the 28th, also very close. It's a bit later at night. And then the clue, we are just missing for some half degree. The moon meets Antares in Scorpio, but here there is no occultation, just for a couple of degrees, I believe. In some areas of North America, there will be occultation, but we have more chances to see occultation than Antares from the moon. So keep this date, say this date, March 3rd. The moon and Antares are very close together. That's what I can see from Stellarium, just a close call, but they don't overlap. Sorry about that. Next time. Mercury, as I said, this month, we technically have some chances to see very low on the eastern horizon in the first half of February, but on February 15, its elongation will be 10 degrees. Its magnitude minus 0.7. So technically, you can try to spot Mercury, but then superior conjunction on February 28. March will be much better month, and in the second half, there was the best opportunity to see Mercury in the evening sky for the northern hemisphere. Venus is the brightest object in the morning sky, of course. On February 7, today, the magnitude is minus 3.93, so you can't miss Venus, but it's also very low in the morning sky, only 6 degrees above the horizon. It's close to Mars, and I will show you soon, on February 22nd, Mars and Venus will be very close, less than 1 degree apart. Mars is unfortunately 100 times fainter, and since there is the light of the twilight, it's very hard to spot. Maybe with the camera you can. This was this morning. You can see there were three objects: Venus, Mars to the bottom left, and the Moon to the bottom right. Venus is higher in the sky, was 6 degrees. So the Moon and Mars were like 2 degrees and 1 degree. And then on February 22nd, this is what I noticed, that is Mars and Venus are less than 1 degree apart, as I said, but Mars is plus 1.27 magnitude. And this is 6 o'clock in the morning, just a few minutes before sunrise. Mars is getting slowly higher in the sky. In March, the separation will increase, but the size is still very, very slow, only 4 arc seconds. It's getting better because at the beginning of next year there will be a new opposition. Jupiter is still very prominent and even in sky. It's at after midnight today. If you have a telescope, try to observe in a twilight because you have a higher contrast against the blue sky. And there are lots of events like this one I captured. So there was the Great Red Spot, and the shadow, I believe, was Europa, was passing in front of Jupiter a few months ago. Then again, Jupiter and the Moon will meet for Valentine's Day, I guess. They're 3 degrees apart. Again, this is around 8, it's 10 o'clock. That Saturn, that is very low in the sky, so you have a few days to capture Saturn before is disappearing because in conjunction with the Sun on February 28th. So say goodbye to Saturn and wait for next month to go back in the morning sky. Uranus is still a good target because it's not far from Jupiter. It's at 10 degrees apart. It's still well positioned in the sky. And the Moon will pass 3 degrees north of Uranus on the day after Valentine's Day. Neptune, forget about it because it's very, very low and very, very dim. So this picture I took was August 13, 2022 with my Celestron 8 SST, a dedicated planetary camera, and 2.5 power made. It's nice I can spot Triton here, but it's 7.8 magnitude, so forget about it because it's very low and is in the twilight. So say goodbye to Neptune as well. But on the other hand, the end of February is the best time of the year for the zodiacal light after sunset. First, you need a dark sky. Second, don't mess with the Milky Way. Basically, the zodiacal light is, why is March the best time of the year? Because the ecliptic has the steepest angle. And you can see this interplanetary dust that is light by the sun. Inter discovery, I believe from Juno space mission, while it was reaching Jupiter, seems that the material of this interstellar dust is coming from Mars. So the interaction between the solar wind and Mars leaves like this dust in the sky, and we can admire after sunset, the end of February, between February 26 and March 8, when the Moon will be back. If you are going on a dark sky, try after sunset, you may capture this beautiful event. Comets and asteroids. We have a few events here. So the asteroid Juno will be at opposition on March 3rd, and its magnitude will be 8.72. We have a few comets. A few of them are very bright. So there is the comet 12P Pons-Brooks that will reach 4.5 magnitude if everything is going according to plans in spring. So it's a good target to look at. But as I think David Lewis say, never trust comet because they have a tail and they do whatever they want, like the cats. So never trust a comet. Maybe maybe, I can tell really slowly. Remember that name. I don't know the accent is correct. Chuchin-san. So there is one comet here. It's nothing to do with the other Chuchin-san that could become very bright in October 2024, but very, very bright. Finger crossed for that one. In the meanwhile, so that's Juno in Leo on March 3rd at the position. You can try to capture because it's 8.72 magnitude, so should be quite easy target to spot with the binocular or with a small telescope. This is the first comet, Chuchin-chan 1, is a periodic comet. When you see the P in the name of the comet, it's a 62 periodic comet. And I think that the name Chuchin-chan is the Chinese observatory that is on the Purple Mountain. Eastern. This one, it's very interesting. I noticed a few days ago, the comet per se is not particularly bright, but tomorrow will be less than 1 degree apart from Aldebaran in Taurus. So if you have a camera, if you have a binocular, if you have a telescope, try to capture between tomorrow and February 10th. This comet can be a surprise. Although its magnitude is only around 10.7, so it's not too bright. But maybe if you never had the chance to see a comet, this can be a good one. And on February 2nd, there is another encounter, the comet 12P Ponsbrook meets 1 Lacerta, that it's a quite bright star because its magnitude is 4.15. This is imaged from Stellarium at around 8 p.m. While the comet magnitude will be around magnitude 8. Deep sky. I mean, we all have preferences. My preference, because I'm lazy, I got a message, can you get, why don't we go, guys, on Clay Major Forest? And I was already setting up my narrow band. So no way, I took a few images a couple of nights ago after 60 days of cloud. So I took the Rosette Nebula, I took the Horsehead Nebula. Great Orion Nebula, of course, is a very good, is a prime time. So you can see 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock p.m. is there, south horizon. And the Crab Nebula, if you have a bigger telescope, I would say, in Taurus. And if you are a fan of open cluster, there's plenty of them. Pleiades, M45 in Taurus. There is a sequence of Messier objects, M35 in Gemini, M36, 36, 37, 38 in Auriga, and M41 in Orion. You have plenty of them. And then, that's tricky one. So a couple of nights ago, I was out and I said, what I can capture. I was just checking the best object and I said, oh, I never tried this one. This is very dim because its magnitude is 11.05. It was discovered in 1795 and is basically the same of the Bubble Nebula kind of object because it's a Wolf-Rayet star that is lighting and is a pre-supernova stage. So the gas is very bright and blue. And this is only 50 minutes total integration time. It's a hard target because it's very low. I don't think it's getting never higher than 20 degrees to the horizon, but it's worthwhile to try it. It's NGC 2359, Taurus Helmet, in Canis Major, not far from Sirius. Visiting of the International Space Station, we have a few of them. The magnitude when is minus 3.5. This usually means that is going very high in the sky. For the last few days of this month, it will be visible in the morning sky before sunrise. And there are a few of them. You can go on the website Heavens Above, set up your coordinates, latitude, longitude, and check where is the next one. There are a few of them, as I say. And specifically, this is one of the best. You see, if you click, you can see the map when the International Space Station is brightest, when it's exiting the shadow of our planet, and where it's going. And if you go on the Transit Finder website here, you can also try to see, of course, now the YouTube video is not working, but it's okay. You can try to see if there is a passage of a transit of International Space Station or Tiangong, or even the Hubble Space Telescope in front of the moon of the sun. So in the image, you can see the moon, and the bright spot to the bottom right is basically the International Space Station was transiting. Was a few years ago. I think it is stuck somewhere here. Technical difficulties. Oh. Yeah, I think the presentation is stuck on the video, trying to get the. Yeah, we have a few events in terms of space mission. I can't get to the page because it seems like the computer is not responding. It's a technical, yeah, it just stuck. So probably will die soon. Okay, it's not going 42. Let me try. No, it's gone. Let me try this one. Okay. I won. Space exploration. Sorry about that. There will be more Starlink's launches, so it will destroy your deep sky imaging, and not only. And today there was a launch of Falcon 9. Also on February 10, another Falcon 9, more Starlinks. Sorry about that. If you go on the website spaceflightnow.com, launch schedule, you will see all the launches, and it's pretty much here. And there should be a February 2nd Falcon 9, a new crew that is reaching the International Space Station. This launch was already delayed. I don't know if this is the latest date. We will see. And again, at the end of February, another Falcon 9. They can tell you what is that about. Secret. And that's all about it. Questions?
No questions in the room. How about online? No questions. Okay, well then I'll throw in a comment. You spoke about Comet Kushida.
Yes.
I was out on Saturday night. I looked for it. It was conveniently placed from my backyard. Visually, with a 10-inch telescope from Markham, absolutely not a chance. I was hoping I could barely see it, but nothing. So I said, okay, let me try an image. So I used an 80mm refractor with a monochrome camera, 1 minute exposure. The comet barely shows up, which was surprising because typically 10th magnitude, a minute exposure is visible very easily. So I don't think the comet is performing as it should at magnitude 10.1.
Yeah, as I always say, comets are like the cats. They have a tail, do whatever they want.
Exactly. Yes, we have a question or comment from Eric.
Thanks, Paul. Claudio, so we got a question on our RASC Facebook group recently about the green comet. And I think we worked out that this was actually something that happened this week last year. It was a comet called Comet ZTF.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes, I saw that and also imaged that.
I actually found I took an image of it as well
Yeah.
about a year ago next week.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very well-performing comet, by the way. Yeah, I believe on Instagram somewhere there should be some of the image I took last year. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, if there are no more questions in the room or online, we'll say thank you. Oh.
Hi, first-time caller, long-time listener. No, but actually, I know nothing about astronomy, but I'm so happy to be here. This is wonderful, and you said something that made me want to ask a question. you can't see something with your eyes, so you catch it with a long image, and you're maybe able to pick up light for the sky looks totally dark, but if you take a picture, you can see something. Is this what I got? Awesome. Thank you so much. That's all.
Basically, the human eye is not sensitive enough to pick up faint light. That's it. Camera is much more sensitive. Okay, well, thanks again, Claudio, for presenting to us. Well done.